Hey, your buddy Peace and Harmony here with you here today. How does the narcissist, how does the psychopath control us? They use all sorts of means and measures to their advantage to try to control us. The first can be with the things that they say. They will often, you've heard that flattery will get you everywhere. Well, being as a target of the psychopath or the narcissist, flattery definitely gets them everywhere with us. We tend to be the type of people who enjoy taking care of others and enjoy hearing a good word, a positive word about ourselves. We're maybe getting acknowledgement from them that we haven't gotten from another source, so there's a huge void in our life. And they start treating us with these kind, sweet words. So they begin to control our emotions, really, that way. They control us also with some of the stories that they tell us. They could have a sob story. They start pulling on our heartstrings. Essentially, they begin to find out what makes us tick. They don't always inquire so much about us, but they begin to tell us more stories about them, what's going on with their life, the things that have occurred, and then they gauge our reactions. Once the narcissist or psychopath is able to gauge our reactions, they know exactly what makes us tick. They know exactly where our boundaries are or aren't. They know exactly how to break us down. They know how to get us to react. They know how to keep us strong. They know how to keep us teased. They know how to keep us tempted. They know how to push our buttons. They're using control and manipulation over us. So a lot of this I find is first done on an emotional level. And as I would say, the younger you are, the more vulnerable you are, the more impressionable you are, and the more helpless you are. You just did not know any better. You thought that this, again, was just in the name of love. It was just you were doing the right thing. You were there to be their best partner. You were there to be the best that you can be. And you ended up by giving basically everything away to them. And ultimately, what do you have to show for it? Except for a lot of wounds, scars, and injury. So emotional story making is some of the initial ways that the narcissist or psychopath can get control over us. What are some other ways that they can get control over us? Well, the kind things that they say, the sob story, then there's what we're perceiving as generosity, generous gifts, or even just being with us. We tend to feel a sense of generosity from them. And so we begin to say, oh, finally we have a place with someone who we can take care of. So we're able to feel a sense of role, our role needs met. We tend to feel a sense of belonging with them. We tend to feel that we have our work cut out for us. And that gives us a sense of ambition and a feeling of belonging when we're able to feel like we have our work cut out for us. But see, relationships shouldn't always be, work. I mean, it shouldn't always be sacrifice. Yes, it's good to be a listening ear to somebody. Yes, it's good to, help them resolve and solve things in their life, but not to our own detriment, not to our own sacrifice, not to our own loss, not to our own dysfunction, and certainly not to our own pain. So they then control us with a sense of their entitlement and superiority. They are so charismatic. They are so often charming, intelligent, good-looking, that we put them a little bit above us. Basically, if we look at how they control us, they're above us. Either financially, intellectually, emotionally, they're above us, and they have exploited that persona that they put out into the world. So, in other words, oftentimes that's a persona that they play and that they create, and they sort of tend to maneuver and make us feel that, we're inferior to them because of certain qualities that they have. And again, it's almost like a super confidence and arrogance, or charisma. You know it when you feel it with the narcissist. You feel like you've just been swooned, you've just been swept off your feet. You just feel carried away, you feel swept away. Oftentimes it's really just by this person's energy. They come at your relationship with so much energy that they almost carry you for the first couple of weeks or years of it, or months. And they control us by their grand entrances, the clothes that they wear, the things that they say, the way that they laugh, the way that they push our emotional buttons. So I would say, definitely their energy, their arrogance begins as a way to control us. And then they begin, to make us feel inferior. Oftentimes it's very subtle. Sometimes it's quite obvious. When they just kind of parade around their accomplishments to us, or they talk about how many groups they belong to, or how many places they've traveled, or their conquests, their sexual conquests, or really even, the gaslighting and their intellect, the way that they overpower us with their emotions. They're able to flip things around in our minds. They're able to conquer us sexually. They're able to make us feel like, gone with the wind, that we've been swept off of our feet by a knight in shining armor. And these are all ways of them getting in, breaking us down, breaking down our boundaries, so we start to lose a sense of balance and control and basically give everything up to them. It's a way that they're able to get control over us and manipulate us, all really without our knowledge and without our knowing. It's often done in a very subtle way, but you can bank on it that the narcissist, it's not their first person that they've charmed and conned, and it's not going to be, you're not going to be their last person that they've charmed and conned. And so just remember, if it's any hard, just remember that they do this time and time again to more and more people, men and women alike, children and older people, and they really have no sort of attachment or commitment or really love or humanity for any of these people. Even though, contrary to the mask, it seems very much that they have attained a certain position in their community or their job or their family or their relationships, or now they've got this and this woman, or they're flirting with this and this slut. How could they have gotten this person? Or, how could they even be tempted by this person, this piece of garbage? You know what I'm talking about. They, enumerate their conquests. They flirt with people. They just have a certain way, or je ne sais quoi, about them that, makes us feel inferior to them, when in essence and in fact we truly are not. We are just controlled by them in that manner because we do not know better, and we don't know really what's happening to us during that love bombing phase. And then they begin to control us with other innumerable ways. Things like money. They're able to either, if they have money, they're able to take us out or give us money, or, with other possessions that they have. They have a nicer car, they have a nicer home, so the scales are tipped there, where they're saying, well, why don't you just come over here, or why don't I drive, or why don't I take us out? They're always trying to take the helm. And then, this is always interesting, when they're always offering to do these things, but then when they show resentment, I'm not paying for this meal, you pay it for this time. Or they show resentment in other ways. When they're getting tired of you as a supply, they'll say offhanded comments like, you're only here because you need things, and which is not true, but yet they'll say these hurtful statements in order to, again, keep you under control of your emotions, keeping you up and down. That's just how they work, that's how they operate, that's how they manipulate people. Well, once you begin to have the tool here, you no longer need or are required to play into their hand, which is the beautiful thing about healing and, restoring a sense of peace and harmony into your life and becoming empowered. Other ways that they control us. In terms of their energy can be quite strong. They have a forceful way about them that oftentimes annihilates our very perspective whatsoever. Be it their physical power, their physical size, their energy in general. They're able to, oftentimes I find that they have excessive amounts of energy for doing just all sorts of different things. I mean, normally when someone would be tired, they're still keeping going. They're on to the next thing. They just tend to keep moving on. And a lot of this has to do with their physiology, especially in the psychopath. They have a very voracious sexual appetite, and they're able to really have multiple sex partners at once, really more than the average person. They're just not satisfied, and it's really just a power thing with them. I think I've mentioned in previous videos, as the psychopath told me, that, you know, he is asexual, which means they're, you know, they're not really into sex per se, but it's more of a power trip for them. They get more of a feeling of being a predator. It's more of a predatory satisfaction than a true, like, love connection or a lust. Again, it's just they're more interested in, you know, how can they manipulate people. They're more playing you. They're more seeing what they can do in order to get a reaction from you, and so they're kind of like studying you, more or less. Rather than enjoying you, they're more studying you. They're looking at, you know, your reaction to things. They're really sizing you up. They're not connected as a heart-to-heart or just a person-to-person where you're, you know, on common ground with them. They're more just trying to look at you, and, you know, they might touch you in a certain way, and they're just saying, okay, they react this way, and then they keep doing it, and they see the reaction, and they go, oh, okay, I'm just doing this. And so they're really just playing you. It's not that they're feeling like, oh, I'm giving you some affection. You know, they'll call themselves very affectionate, but they're not affectionate at all. They're just, it's like playing a slot machine. They're touching you a certain way, and a certain reaction is coming out, a certain coin. Here I am with my analogies again. But, you know, they're putting the coin in, and they're seeing this reaction, so they just keep putting the coin in. So in other words, it's like, if I touch you this way, I get a reaction. I touch you this way, I get a reaction. And they're not at all connected to you, just like you're not connected to a slot machine. You don't have a human connection to that slot machine. You might say, oh, I win a lot on this slot machine, man. Every time I sit here and play this one, I just get goo-gobs of money. You know, you're playing the slot machine. I've only played a slot machine like twice in my life, and I don't like gambling. I'm not that kind of person. But, you know, it's the same theory. It's the same philosophy. Basically, they're just playing you. I mean, they're just, they get a kick out of it, and they actually, you know, the psychopath and the narcissist, they actually think their victims are really rather stupid. They really, you know, think that they are stupid and that they are superior to them in knowledge, and that, you know, how could this person fall for me, almost. I mean, they have a sense of superiority about themselves and their the way that they are. They think that they are superior to others because they can dominate them, because they have such lack of empathy, and they have such you know, lack of compassion and lack of conscience, that they feel superior to other people. They see where other people might have a connection, and they think, geez, get a life, you know, you guys are in love, please, there's so much more to life, like, there's so much more to get, there's, you know, there's so much more supply. What are you guys getting hung up on all that for? You know, they don't get it. They don't have a physical register of a love connection, and so they're able to really, you know, get control over people. They're able to see what makes them tick, what makes them react, and they just continue to play it. And, you know, when they're done playing a certain slot machine or a certain game, i.e. person, they're just moving on. And so that's why you can't take it personally. You know, you can't feel bad moving on. And, you know, hopefully this will help you so that you don't relapse. But I hope it even helps you more, and so that you'll be able to identify these people and learn to kind of see it coming. That's my whole goal for you here on this channel. Peace and harmony here with you here today. Please subscribe for more great tools, videos, and discussion, and share with those people who need it. Make it a beautiful day.